Genesis 29, Laban's daughters. Then Jacob went on his journey and came into the land of the people of the east, and he looked, and he beheld a well in the field, and lo, there was 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks, and the great stone was upon the well's mouth, and and thither there were all flocks gathered, and they rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the sheep. But the stone again upon the well's mouth in his place. And Jacob said unto them, My brethren, where hence ye be? And they said, Of Haran we are. And he said unto them, Know ye Laban son of Nahor? And nor they said, We know him. And he shall said unto them, He is well. And they say, He is well. And behold, Rachel his daughter cometh with the sheep. And he said, Lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should go gather together. Water ye sheep and go and feed them, he said. We cannot until the flocks be gathered together, until the row of stone from the well's mouth, then we water the sheep. And while ye spake with him, Rachel came with her daughter, father's sheep, for she kept them. And it came to pass when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rachel, and lifted up his voice and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father. And it came to pass, when Laban heard these tidings of Jacob's, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him to his house. And he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, Surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month. And Laban said unto Jacob, Because thou art my brother, should thou therefore serve me, or not? Tell me, why shall thy wages be? What shall thy wages be? And Laban had 2 daughters, and the name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. And Jacob loved Rachel, and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel thy younger daughter. And Laban said, It is better that I give her to thee than that I should give her to another man. Abide with thee. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had for her. And Jacob said unto Laban, Give me my wife, my days are fulfilled, that I may go unto her. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place, and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah his daughter, and brought her to him, and he went unto her. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah his maid for an handmaid. And it came to pass in that the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, What is this thou hast done unto me? Did I not serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? And Laban said, It must not be done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years. And Jacob did so, fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel his daughter to wife also. And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter, Bilhah, his handmaid to be her maid. And he into went in also unto Rachel, and he also loved Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet another 7 years. And the Lord saw that Leah was hated, and he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. And Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, Surely the Lord has took upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me. And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, Because the Lord hath heard what I was hated, and the Lord hath heard that I was hated, he hath my given me this son also. And she called his name Simeon. And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, Now this time will be my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore was his name called Levi. And she conceived again and bare a son, and she said, Now I praise the Lord. Therefore she came his name Judah, and left bearing. Genesis 29 plunges Jacob straight into the world of poetic justice. After decades of acting as the ultimate family trickster, scamming his brother out of his birthright, and using sensory disguise to deceive his blind father, Jacob finally crosses paths with his match, his fiercely manipulative uncle Laban. This chapter records Jacob's arrival in Haran, this instantaneous love at first sight encounter with his cousin Rachel, and devastating taste of his own medicine on his wedding night. Here is the deep historical, cultural, and literary context behind the ultimate marital bait and switch in ancient history. Jacob arrives at the communal well in Haran, the exact same region where Abraham's servant had traveled decades earlier to recruit Rebekah for Isaac in chapter 24. But watch now as the author uses a brilliant literary comparison to highlight Jacob's penniless, desperate status. Abraham's servant arrives with a massive caravan of 10 camels loaded with heavy gold jewelry, while Jacob the fugitive arrives entirely alone on foot, carrying absolutely nothing but his walking staff. Abraham's servant stands back while a servant woman draws water for him. Jacob spots Rachel approaching her with her father's sheep and performs a massive feat of physical strength, single-handedly rolling a giant heavy stone off the mouth of the well to water her flock himself. Overwhelmed with emotion, relief, and attraction, Jacob kisses Rachel and literally breaks down weeping. Rachel runs home to tell her father Laban. Just like he did in chapter 24, Laban rushes out to greet the traveler. But the moment he realizes Jacob has arrived as a broken refugee with no bridal gifts or wealth, the dynamic immediately shifts from Jacob's hospitality to cold-blooded economic exploitation. Alright, Jacob stays with Laban for a month, working hard in the fields. Laban, realizing how valuable Jacob's labor is, pitches a business arrangement. Because thou art my brother, should thou therefore serve me for naught? Tell me what thy wages be. The narrator pauses to introduce Laban's 2 daughters. Leah, described as tender-eyed, a Hebrew idiom that could mean soft, delicate, weak, or failing eyesight, lacking vivid spark prized in the ancient world. Rachel the younger, described as beautiful and well-favored, stunning in both form and facial features. Jacob is head over heels in love with Rachel because she has no money or gold to pay the traditional mohar the ancient bride price paid to a woman's family to seal the marriage contract, he offers a staggering alternative. I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter. When the 7 years are up, Jacob demands his bride. Laban throws a massive communal wedding feast, complete with heavy drinking that lasts late into the night. When darkness falls, Laban executes a flawless, ruthless deception. He takes his elder daughter, blankets her in a thick traditional bridal veil, and leads her into the pitch-black bridal tent. Jacob, heavily intoxicated and operating in total darkness, sleeps with her, completely unaware of the swap. Then he becomes the brutal single-sentence climax in verse 26. It came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. Jacob, absolutely furious, he storms into Laban's quarters, demanding answers. What is this thou hast done unto me? Did I not serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? Laban responds with a calm, chilling excuse that serves as the ultimate moral punchline for Jacob's life. It must not be so done in our country to give the younger brother before the firstborn. Laban hits Jacob like a physical blow. Laban's words hit Jacob like a physical blow, thinking about the intense irony happening here. Chapter 27, Jacob's crime. He ignored the rule of the firstborn to steal the older brother's blessing in the darkness. In chapter 29, he invokes the law of the firstborn to force his older brother onto his older daughter onto Jacob in the dark. Poetic justice. Jacob refuses his father's physical blindness to swap roles with his brother. Now Laban uses the physical blindness of the night to swap the younger sister for the older sister. Jacob is forced to look into the mirror and confront the agonizing pain of deception from the victim's perspective. Jeez. Laban, completely in control of the negotiation, leverages the situation to exact even more free labor from his nephew. He tells Jacob to finish out the traditional 7-day wedding week with Leah. In exchange, he will give him Rachel immediately as well, provided Jacob signs a contract to work another 7 consecutive weeks for free. Jacob, desperate for Rachel, submits to the extortion. He marries Rachel a week later, but the chapter closes on a deeply tragic, heartbreaking note of domestic warfare. And he loved also Rachel more than Leah. Seeing that Leah was unloved and rejected, the Lord steps in to the family drama and opens Leah's womb while keeping Rachel barren. Leah gives birth to 4 consecutive sons: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. With every single child she bears, Leah desperately names the boy in hopes that her husband will finally love her. Reuben means see a son, because she thinks, now therefore my husband will love me. This agonizing marital power struggle sets up a massive baby-making war in chapter 30. These children, born without a chaotic polygamous web of jealousy and deceit, will grow up to become founding patriarchs of the 12 tribes of Israel, carrying the baggage of this intense family dysfunction straight into the next generation.